Welcome back, Kaiju fans. Today we're going to be talking about a few different pieces of information that have been releasing over the past week for Godzilla vs. Kong 2020. Some actually important, others not so much. The first thing that is a hot topic right now that everyone's talking about is when director Adam Wingard released the picture of the oxygen destroyer prop on Twitter. And then there was an interview conducted afterwards by a non-credible source, which is the problem there, asking whether or not, this is exactly how it went, if it is going to be a cameo or an actual plot point. And Adam Wingard responded to that sentence with yes. Yes. And everyone's taking it as, oh, it's confirmed in the movie. No, he asked two questions and got one answer, non-specific to either one. So, we don't know. No, but there's no confirmation on the oxygen destroyer whatsoever. That's like asking, hi, how are you? Yes. Do you like peas or carrots in your soup? Yes. Well, which one? Which one is it? Nobody knows because he didn't specify, and it's a non-credible source that's reporting that it's confirmed in the first place. So that's not anything that we should even be thinking about right now. It's fun to think how it could fit in, but as of right now, it's probably not in because there's still no word on it whatsoever. Whether or not it's actually going to be in the movie, considering it's a non-credible source and it was not an answered question whether or not it was in the movie or not. Is it in the movie or is it not in the movie? Yes, that's what we have. So, moving on from there is that there is going to be additional monsters in the Godzilla vs. Kong movie. We don't know which ones. Basically, the gist of the situation is that Adam wants the movie to be an emotional driving picture, not only for the human characters, but for the kaiju as well. He wants you to feel empathy for the monsters, thinking, is Godzilla actually going to lose, or is Kong going to lose? Because he wants it to be more of an enjoyable experience, a more serious tone compared to the original one that had kind of like the stalemate at the end, and that Adam was asked, due to the fact that the Legendary has the rights to Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, which one of those monsters, if any, will end up being in Godzilla vs. Kong, and his response is that he was hesitant to ask but didn't name names. So he was asked which of those three kaiju that they already had rights to were going to be in the movie, and he wouldn't answer. Now people are speculating that that means other Toho monsters are going to be in the movie, but that's jumping to conclusions. There's no evidence based on that situation whatsoever. There's nothing hinting at that in the slightest. He was asked basically if the monsters that they already had the rights for were going to be in the movie, and he didn't answer. He didn't name names, probably because if we use our heads for a second, the movie that those kaiju are going to be in is not out yet. Therefore, we don't know which kaiju, if they all do in fact survive, will continue on in the franchise. Because if we say, oh, Ghidorah is going to be in Godzilla vs. Kong, that immediately means that there's no possibility of Ghidorah being defeated or killed off in the previous movie. That's why he didn't answer the question, is because we don't have the movie previous to that yet. That answer would potentially spoil plot points for Godzilla 2, where Rodan, Mothra, and Ghidorah, one of them or all of them may end up being defeated, exiled, or killed. But if we have confirmation that they're going to be in the next movie before this movie even comes out, that immediately already diminishes the possibility that they die, because he would have just spoiled that entire plot line. That's why he's hesitant to answer that question based off those kaiju. He did say that there's going to be a lot of monsters going crazy on each other. He wants this to be a big monster brawl. So we do have confirmation that there are other kaiju in the movie. We just don't know if they're Legendary created kaiju, if they're Toho created kaiju. More often than not, they're probably going to go with probably cannon fodder kaiju, small ones, kind of like non-important ones, maybe more skull crawlers, maybe more mutos, new breeds of mutos. I mean, if we have any scenes of Skull Island. We're probably going to see more of the kaiju that were on Skull Island, already saying that there's more kaiju in the movie, so we really don't know, and there's not really any reason to jump to conclusions yet, naming names of which kaiju are showing up in the movie, when in reality we don't have any information whatsoever based off of any kaiju that could potentially be shown up in this movie, because he doesn't want to name names, because the kaiju that they have the rights to, we don't have that movie for yet. So we don't know what kaiju are coming. We do know that there are additional kaiju coming. So it'll be interesting to see if they do in fact purchase rights to more Toho kaiju. We're gonna know about that, and we're gonna know what monsters are showing up in this movie. But they probably will make most of these additional kaiju more legendary created kaiju, so they don't have to pay the fee to get the rights, and they can just make it on the scene for whatever situation they want to fulfill it in, and then blend it into the storyline exactly the way they want to, as opposed to trying to take a kaiju that already has its origins set in the Toho universe with a specific creation point, specific creation day, and the situation, and trying to recreate that in a different way without pissing off fans. So they're probably going to do that. And then lastly, the news, most recent news, is that Adam specifically says that he wants this movie to have a definitive winner. So someone is going to walk away from this movie victorious, be it Kong or Godzilla. That is going to be a tough decision. The problem is that right now, this is a mostly Godzilla-centric universe, so most of the fans in this universe are going to be Godzilla fans by the time this movie comes out. So if you have Godzilla lose, that's going to make so many people mad, when it's obvious right now that he's the stronger kaiju, just from what we've seen in Godzilla 2014 and Kong Skull Island. Kong fighting a kaiju of the equivalent size to him, not even at Godzilla tier strength, really did some damage to him, really messed him up, and he almost lost that fight, where Godzilla confronted two kaiju, one the same size as him and one slightly smaller at the same time, and didn't have any visible scars or anything like that coming out of the engagement, plus having the atomic breath ability to defeat them with. So it's going to be an interesting decision on how they're going to try to justify that. The fact that we're going to have a definitive winner between the two of them basically eliminates the possibility of some kind of Batman v Superman super tacky team up kind of thing going on at the end, which I know a lot of people wanted, because that's a way to make it so that nobody wins the fight and nobody gets mad. But the fact that he wants somebody to win the fight takes that away. So we're going to see other kaiju in the mix-up, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be Godzilla versus Kong, and then these other kaiju are in the movie, but they're not necessarily important right now. So we are going to have a winner between the two of them, and it's really, as of what we've seen right now, it's really going to be leaning towards Godzilla, especially depending on how Godzilla 2 goes, because if he fights all three of those all three Toho kaiju at the same time, and he wins that engagement, how do you justify Kong beating him when Kong can hardly hold his own against the large skull crawler? So it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough for him to decide. I honestly don't know what he's going to do. It's going to be hard. But that's really the three pieces of news that I wanted to cover today. Sorry, I've been kind of like out of commission for the past week. I had some surgery done, but I'm pretty much back to normal now. But let me know what you guys think about the additional kaiju. Give me a reason to believe that there's more Toho kaiju, because there's no evidence whatsoever. And let me know who you guys think is going to win the fight, and why. I personally think it's just going to be Godzilla at this point, because of how much stronger in this universe he's already presented to be. But that's going to be it, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out.